Hello. Well, I I posted the wrong video. So I have to redo it. I'm not looking too good. I had my root canal yesterday. But maybe some of you could have had some time to check into this book that I wanted to present. And yeah, like I said, I'm still a little swollen up over here. It's right there. You can see it. Now I have still like this sinus kind of infection. But I want to make this video because I noticed, oh my goodness, I didn't put the right one on there. The one I stopped because I didn't know. Corbett Report. Corbett Report is where I got this book from. Corbett Report on BitChute. If you go there, he's not on YouTube because they censored him. And he had an interview with the author of the book, and this is how I found out about this book, True Conspiracies, by Connor Boyack. It's called the Tuttle Twins Guide to True Conspiracy. He makes a lot of these books. It's called the Tuttle Twins Guides to whatever he wants youth, actually older kids, to learn. And this is about conspiracies. So what the author wanted to do is to introduce young kids or youth to conspiracy, this idea of that the government is involved in conspiracy. Okay, conspiracy is things people do in secret and they don't want the public to know. That's what conspiracy is. I know we talk about conspiracy theory, okay, because they want to make it look like there is no conspiracy going on, and so they add conspiracy theory. That doesn't exist. But see, theory is only an assumption. I'm assuming that this is a conspiracy, but it hasn't been proven yet. Okay? It's like maybe my gut feeling, or I have seen some things that kind of look suspicious. And so then after that, we have to dig into it. What usually our, what do you call it? Writers or our, I don't know. I don't remember how you call them, that write, journalists, okay? Our journalists used to do that. They used to, or investigators, journalistic investigators used to do that. And then they found out, okay, what's behind this? And of course, since our journalists, our, reporters, news reporters, are bought, and this is one of the things he showed here. Now, we don't know, this used to be done under a Operation Mockingbird. Okay, Mockingbird. And under this Operation Mockingbird, the CIA paid journalists, news agencies, Hollywood, to present things to the public, okay, that they wanted them to be conditioned with. In other words, preparing them for their agenda. You see, it's a form of mind control using media, okay? So this is what he's addressing in this book. And unfortunately, they didn't do at first a good job hiding it. And it came out in the 70s that they have been doing that in the 50s and in the 60s. And so then it came out in the 70s. There was just one case coming out where they found out that the public found out that they were doing this. And who was behind it? CIA. Okay, CIA. So CIA, FBI, IRS, NSA. These are the culprits. And of course, they were only slapped on their hand and said, don't do it again. And they said, oh, okay, we're not doing it again. But in the past 4 years, we know that they most likely continued, because now most of our public newspapers or our public news agencies or even Hollywood is in the hands of the CIA. Now, CIA is the CIA, the final agency. And I'm saying no. If you have watched my previous videos, I have shown that the CIA is only an instrument for the next agencies in this pyramid. Okay? And again, I'm now going to assumptions because I don't have the proof in front of me. I believe they are probably most likely not influenced by the Zionists, but the Jesuits. Because our period of power goes up towards this all-seeing eye through papacy. Okay? And papacy includes the Black Pope, which is the general of the Jesuits. So this is the pyramid of power if you've watched my videos. So CIA is just one agency below that, far below that, that most likely maybe strings are pulled by Jesuits. Okay? And I'm saying most likely because right now, so far, we have only information that CIA is behind these things. Okay? They're behind everything. Assassinations, coups in other countries, all kinds of stuff. Matter of fact, somebody was saying today on Redacted that they may be involved with Hamas and even this October 7th, which makes sense. If you've been following these things, and like I said, this book is only going by facts, okay? It's an introduction. Then, thinking people can assume, hey, wait a minute, you can't trust them, so what have they done next? There's a quote from Bush Jr., who says, and it's not just from Bush, but he used it, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. Shame on me. Fool me. I hope I get that. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Okay? So in other words, I can excuse one time when I'm fooled, but when I'm fooled twice, I better wake up. Okay? Better wake up. It's your fault if you get fooled twice. So when you're fooled once, which the CIA has done over and over and over and over and over, I think we need to open our eyes to see what's going on. And this is exactly what this author is trying to do with youth, so they can approach this topic of conspiracy with an open mind. Just because somebody says, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist, does not mean these conspiracies don't happen. They're not all theories. Some of these conspiracies are real. Conspiracies happen. People always conspire against other people behind their back. We are fallen creatures and we are extremely corrupt. And I think the people that are in government and in control are probably more corrupt than anybody else. So I really found this book very interesting, especially because he points out these facts. And I have to say this author is actually pretty lenient with these people, because he even sometimes makes excuses. Like, for instance, another one is, let me check it out. Here, my cat is here. So he's talking about Operation Iraq War. Okay. Remember when this young lady was saying that the Iraqi were throwing out babies out of incubators, and then later we found out that this girl was 15 years old, and she was the daughter of the Kuwait ambassador to the U.S. So yeah, that was it. Then of course the Mockingbird, which has been going on forever. We see that especially in this past 4 years, they have shown us how far they have come, influencing really all medias. Okay, I need to add something to that Mockingbird. Now, we see obviously, if you have your eyes open, which news agencies or which alternative media, okay, that called maybe opposition to the media, to the mainstream media. You have to be careful with those people as well. I have seen very clearly during this past 4 years, and I'm going to just use that some people that look oppositional are really controlled opposition. In other words, they're still controlled. We always know that the shadow government controls really both sides. And that's why we have to be careful, especially with those people that look like they're opposition, but in reality they're controlled opposition, and they're still going to mislead us at some point. Okay? And a lot of doctors and scientists were in that category. And I don't want to go into detail because I don't want this video to be taken off. But you can do some research, and I want you just to be very careful. It never seems the way it is. You have to do your own research. Okay? Look at from every angle. Don't jump into something just because the government is saying it. Don't jump into it because some scientists are saying it. I have had my eyes open about several so-called alternative media. Why? Because they're not going far enough. And they're still buying into this false narrative. The same thing, people, happens in the churches. And that's why I'm bringing this book up, because I want people to become alert and wake up to what's going on. I know the people that I have on my channel, I know most of them that keep watching my videos, they are awake. But I always have new ones. And so I'm hoping that I do reach at least some that are still at the edge. Those people that are shut tight, you will not reach them. They have been brainwashed and conditioned for a long time. This book is, of course, spilling it out, all the brainwashing that has been done, okay, through this Operation Mockingbird, which they most likely never dropped, okay, and other things. They have been lying and conditioning us for a long, long time, at least since the Second World War. That's obvious. Now, I would think maybe even after the First World War, even though there was not very much time in between. But that's how long it's been going on. And then I believe during that time, First, Second World War, is when the United States became the beast out of the earth. Before it was like a lamb. I guess it was always a beast, maybe not. But it was like a lamb, and now it spoke like a dragon. Revelation 13. That's what happened, people, during that time. It turned into an empire. When it turned into an empire, it was controlled by who? Satan, the dragon. That's why it spoke like the dragon. Okay? People make no mistake. The United States is not Babylon the Great. Even though Babylon is controlling it. Babylon the Great, which is the Vatican. Now, it's kind of hard to say who is controlling. Is it the white pope or is it the black pope? The black pope is the general of the Jesuits. Maybe both of them. Maybe the white one is just a representative. But since he's a Jesuit, he probably knows what's going on. But this is the hierarchy of power. And in that hierarchy of power, since they are all children of Satan, or agents of Satan, or Satan is even, I don't know, possessing them, like some people believe, they are controlling every country belonging to the NATO. They already, controlled Europe the whole time. There's no doubt. Even though there were some Protestant countries, these Protestant countries were snuffed. If they didn't go along with the Pope, they were snuffed out, just like Germany and like Russia. It's obvious, okay? We have proof for that one. I read it over and over again where people do that research. Yeah. The Kaiser had to go. The Tsar had to go because they did not bow down to the Jesuits who were infiltrating into the Russian government or meddling in the Russian government, and they also was meddling in the German government. So these things do happen. Conspiracy happens. Why? Because they don't want you to know what's going on. Now, why would they want you to know what's going on? They want people to be blind. They want even people to not have a free will. This is what they did with the operation, let's see if I'm going to find it, MK Ultra. It's when they actually tried to find ways to control people and make them do things that their normal conscience wouldn't do. You can check all these things out in more detail. Do your own research. There's one there, Operation Sea Spray, where the government dumped toxins into coastal areas, like I think in the West Coast, and I think in Florida as well, to see how they would travel and what kind of effect they would have on the population. They also sprayed the middle of the United States with toxins to see how people would react to it. And we know what other things they did. Well, they can say, oh, we didn't do that on purpose, like when they sprayed DDT. But again, we don't know that, really. We know that they sprayed, happily DDT, and they said, oh, it's against the pest. And then we found out that it was poison. It was poisonous. And it actually caused polio. We know that today. There are facts. Okay? Now, did they know that? Well, if they didn't know it, why did they not test it? So my question is. And that happens all the time, because we have seen what happened now with this new vaccine, right? That they have not tested it enough. and that they were just speeding it up and injecting it in people. And we know the devastation right now with that. And we can find out the information now. If you want to find out about it, there's plenty of information out there. It's just people want to be shut. Okay? Shut eye. I don't want to hear about it. Okay, I want to trust the government because that's, if I can't trust the government, what do I have? That's what they think. I want to just live my life in peace. And, I don't want to think that life is cruel or, dangerous. It would be horrible. But life is that way. Because, when you look at this book, it shows you clearly, even with the little stuff that, it's not even 1% what he brought up. It's just little things that you could prove what happened with our government. Okay? He's even talking about here Operation Fast. No, not Operation Fast and Furious. Which one? Oh, sugar fat studies. That is an interesting one. How they lied to us about sugar, or not lied, but just didn't tell us the information. And we are thinking, we can trust the government. We can trust these scientists. How they lied about fat, how important fat is, and that really the sugar is the one that's bad. They were trying to convince us that we have to eat fat-free stuff, but when it comes to sugar, we can just gorge and eat whatever we want. In reality, today we know that sugar is the one that we need to eliminate because it causes all the sicknesses, but the fat is actually the good stuff. And of course, we need to be careful there too. But some people say keto diet, which is a fat diet, is actually very healthy. And again, you have to research it. Don't believe what just people say. This is what this book is about, for people to wake up and question things. Of course, we're not allowed to question, right? We've been conditioned not to question our government, to believe that, we have a democracy. But what is a democracy? It's the rule of the majority. That's what democracy is. And I don't agree with that, and our amendments don't agree with that either. Our Constitution doesn't agree with that. Our Constitution is not really democracy because the individual is very highly valued, and a lot of people are forgetting that. No, it is not the rule of the majority. That's not what it is. The individual are just as important. My decision, my belief is important over the crowd, okay, over the majority. There's something, I don't know where I saw it in here, where he quoted Mark Twain. Mark Twain says, if you're in the majority, then you have to be careful. I wanted to say you have to run, but you definitely have to be careful. That's what he said in here at one point. And that's true. If you're in the majority, watch out. There's something wrong. Okay? And I believe that. There's something fishy. Because the majority are closed-minded. They're already conditioned and they follow what the government has been presenting to them. And again, government, okay? People, I think all of our government is corrupt. They all follow the people that give them the money or the power. And people that are not following, they are forced out. They don't even keep them in government positions. That's how it is. The Speaker of the House, I don't know why they kicked him out. I don't know if he was just not reliable anymore to pull through, the agenda of the elite. I'm going to call them elite. How about the pyramid of power? And you know where that goes. Okay? So I really want to recommend this book for everybody. Also, if you have grandchildren, you have children, buy it for them and then read it first and then give it to them. It talks about 20 conspiracies. Okay? Conspiracy means the government did things, and government, CIA, whatever these, secret or agencies are, and they did it for years and years and didn't want the public to know about it. One that he addresses is paperclip, and most people probably know that, Operation Paperclip, where they brought over Nazi scientists and doctors after World War II, and they didn't have to go through the Nuremberg trials. They continued their experiments over here, like Werner von Braun, who was in charge at the, space, NASA, okay, building rockets. And then he also talks about a doctor that it experienced experiments with prisoners during the Holocaust. And he was brought over here and he just continued his experiments over here. All these things he addresses. A lot of the experiments that were done here on people, I don't remember all the studies now. You have to look at them. One of the experience operations was where they used poor people, I think black people, that had syphilis, and they would not treat them just so they can study them, what the effect was on their long-term health. There's a lot of people that he didn't address. He wanted to only pick the ones that he could prove, okay? And he wanted to make a point saying, wait a minute, look at all these that you can prove, then look at the ones, okay, they have hidden. Why? Because they don't want you to know. These things just accidentally came out, okay? He studies only accidentally. After 20 years, finally, came out. I talked about 9/11, and he addresses it here as the new Pearl Harbor. 20 years, and the government still hasn't admitted that there was something fishy going on. He has that great reset here. Gulf of Tonkin. I think I already did say Project MK Ultra. So 21 of these, 20 that he could prove where the government was behind it. And again, you can't trust the government. I've kept saying that and saying it and saying it, and it doesn't matter what party is in charge. They make it look like they are oppositions, but in reality, they're working really on the same plan, because the same people provide the money, the power, the pressure, the control. Okay? There is no difference, people. There is no difference. And that's why I always say, don't vote. Don't vote. We should not vote. Number one, because we cannot affect anything anyways. We don't even know the people behind the scene. We're not going to vote for the people behind the scene. We're just going to continue to be blinded, deceived, and stay stuck in our darkened mind. Now, the reason why I bringing this up is also because this is also going on not only in our government, it's going on in our churches. Our churches have been infiltrated by the same kind of people, the Jesuits, okay? And they have corrupted our churches. We know that with the dispensational, what is it called? It's dispensationalism. Why couldn't I not say that word? Isn't that strange? I just couldn't remember that word. Dispensationalism. That's what most people are indoctrinated in. But we have, like I said, a lot of people that are coming out but still hold on to a big portion of it. They still have not been fully cured. And they may just go into a different direction, false direction. Okay? We need to go back to the Bible and see what the Bible says about end times. That is so important today because we've been so blinded. One of these conspiracies that, well, can be proven, and I read a lot about it, is, of course, Zionism. Okay? Zionism. So many people have been indoctrinated. Christians have been indoctrinated into Zionism. And people, we need to wake up. We need to wake up. But I'm coming to an end. It always takes a long time to upload these videos, and I don't want to make them too long. Because I want you to get this book. If you want to, or I want to suggest this book. Or look up the interview with Corbett Report on BitChute, because it's not on it's not on YouTube anymore. And he made this interview. Anyways, people, let the Holy Spirit guide you. Sorry, the first one was messed up, and okay.